Good day, everyone. We are going to have a brief discussion about Dorothy E. Johnson and her behavioral system model. Brief history and biography. Dorothy E. Johnson was born on August 21, 1919, in Savannah, Georgia, and died on February 1999 at the age of 80. She received her associate's degree from Armstrong Junior College in Savannah, Georgia in 1938. During 1943 to 1944, she was a staff nurse at the Catham Savannah Health Council. She was an instructor and an assistant professor in pediatric nursing at Vanderbilt University School of Nursing. From 1949 until her retirement in 1978 and her subsequent move to Key Largo, Florida, Johnson was an assistant professor of pediatric nursing, an associate professor of nursing, and a professor of nursing at the University of California in Los Angeles. During 1955 and 1956, Johnson was a pediatric nursing advisor assigned to the Christian Medical College School of Nursing in Vellore, South India. From 1965 to 1967, she served as a chairperson on the committee of the California Nurses Association that developed a position statement and specifications for the clinical specialists. Johnson's behavioral system model was heavily influenced by Florence Nightingale's book, Notes on Nursing. She accepted Nightingale's belief that the first concern of nursing is with the relationship between the person who is ill and their environment, not with the illness. The behavioral system model is a nursing care model that advocates the fostering of efficient and effective behavioral functioning in the patient to prevent illness. The patient is then identified as a behavioral system composed of seven behavioral subsystems, namely affiliative, dependency, ingestive, eliminative, sexual, aggressive, and achievement. Each subsystem's three functional requirements include protection from noxious influences, provision for a nurturing environment, and stimulation for growth. Johnson defined nursing as an external regulatory force which acts to preserve the organization and integration of the patient's behavior at an optimum level under those conditions in which the behavior constitutes a threat to the physical or social health or in which illness is found. These are the major definitions and concepts. Behavior. Behavior is the output of intraorganismic structures and processes as they are coordinated and articulated by and responsive to changes in sensory stimulation. System. According to Johnson, a system is a whole that functions as a whole by virtue of the independence of its part. Behavioral system. The behavioral system encompasses the patterned, repetitive, and purposeful ways of behaving. Functional requirements and sustanal imperative. The functional requirements and sustanal imperative is needed for the subsystems to develop and maintain stability. Regulation or control. This implies the deviations which will be detected and corrected. The interrelated behavioral subsystems must be regulated in some fashion so that its goals can be realized. Tension. Tension is defined as a state of being stretched or strained and can be viewed as an end product of a disturbance in equilibrium. Stressor. Stressor is the internal or external stimuli that produce tension and result in a degree of instability. Equilibrium. According to Johnson, equilibrium is the key concept in nursing specific goal. It is defined as a stabilized but more or less transitory resting state in which the individual is in harmony with himself and with this environment.
Subsystems. The behavioral system has many tasks to perform. Therefore, parts of the system evolve into subsystems with specialized tasks. A subsystem is a mini-system with its own particular goal and function that can be maintained as long as its relationship to the other subsystems or the environment is not disturbed. There are seven identified subsystems, namely attachment, affiliative, dependency, ingestive, eliminative, sexual, achievement, and aggressive protective. Attachment affiliative subsystem. The attachment affiliative subsystem is probably the most critical because it forms the basis for all social organization. On a general level, it provides survival and security. Dependency subsystem. The dependency subsystem promotes helping behavior that calls for a nurturing response. Its consequences are approval, attention or recognition, and physical assistance. Ingestive subsystem. The ingestive subsystem has to do with when, how, what, how much, and under what conditions we eat. It serves the broad function of appetitive satisfaction. In eliminative subsystem, the eliminative subsystem addresses when, how, and under what conditions we eliminate. In sexual subsystem, the sexual subsystem has the dual functions of procreation and gratification, including but not limited to courting and mating. This response system begins with the development of gender role identity and it and includes the broad range of sex role behaviors. Achievement subsystem. The achievement subsystem attempts to manipulate the environment. Its function is control or mastery of an aspect of self or environment to some standard of excellence. And lastly, aggressive protective subsystem. The aggressive protective subsystem function is protection and preservation. So today, I'm going to present the four assumptions of the meta paradigm of nursing according to Dorothy Johnson. In nursing, nursing's goal is to maintain and restore the person's behavioral system balance and stability or to help the person achieve a more optimum level of balance and functioning. Nursing activities do not depend on medical authority, but they are complementary to medicine. She defined health as an elusive, dynamic state influenced by biological, psychological, and social factors. She defined person as a behavioral system with patterned, repetitive, and purposeful ways of behaving that link the person with environment. She defined environment as the source of the sustenance imperatives of protection, nurturance, and stimulation that are necessary prerequisites to maintain health. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day and stay safe always.